Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about the basics of marketing, which is something in all the years I've been doing this, a lot of advisors, a lot of kids especially, they really don't understand what marketing is. All right, there's sales and marketing. A lot of folks think that's the same thing. No, it's not. Sales is sales. You're selling somebody something like your yearbook or an ad and so on. Marketing is the attention or publicity you give and put together to lead to sales of a book or an ad or something. These are two separate things. And most schools either don't do much with marketing, some cases don't do anything with marketing. I know a lot of yearbook companies out there, hey, we'll handle your marketing for you. And a lot of advisors, oh, that's good. I don't have to worry about that. Here, company, you do everything. And then you find out later, hey, this isn't very effective because there's more to marketing than just handing it off to your yearbook company. You need to be doing some things. In the past number of years, I guess I've been a little harsh, all right, with some groups and advisors and so on, but I'm truthful on this. Yearbook is a 50-50 thing, 50% production, making the book, 50% marketing and sales. Because here's the simple thought, all right? You're having a lot of fun, hopefully, making your book. Let's say you're making a killer book this year. It is fabulous, the best book in school history. It's got a cool cover, and the pages are great, and the photos are great. We've got a lot of stories in there and quotes and all this sort of thing. This is a really good book. Awesome. And if nobody buys one, or very few people buy one, you've failed. You've flunked, because the idea is at the end of the year, there's a bill to pay with your yearbook company for whatever books they made for you. If people aren't buying it, okay, you've wasted your time. You've wasted a year. The whole purpose of making a yearbook is to get people to buy one so that they remember this very unique school year. That means marketing. And that's where not just your company, but you have to come into play on this. All right, we can kind of divide this into two sections. There's online marketing, and there's what I still call in-school marketing. Now, again, everybody now these days does online marketing. Could be social media, could be emailing, and so on. And that's great, that's wonderful. But the in-school marketing is something that is so very, very important. Nothing beats in-house promotion. Keep in mind, who buys the yearbook? Parents do primarily, right? So first, we got to reach parents with your messaging. So if all you're doing with your marketing is you're doing some daily announcements and you're slapping some posters on walls, parents are not going to hear the daily announcements and they're not going to see those posters on walls, are they? No. All right. This is where in-house marketing needs to be a lot more creative. Here's an absolute fact. All right. And if you're a parent, I think you realize this too. Do you pay more attention to company marketing that comes to you, or some message that comes from your school? In other words, you can tell this is a school message. That company message, yeah, you might open it. Maybe you get enough of those. It's like, eh. The school messages, what do? You probably open them every single time. Parents pay attention to stuff coming from their kids' school. That's you. That's good in-house marketing. All right, so let's throw out some quick tips here. First off, if you don't already, hopefully in working with your yearbook company, you have various sales reports. In other words, during the school year, how are we doing with our sales right now? Well, we've sold this many books, and here's who's bought a book so far. Use those sales reports. Figure out, okay, who hasn't bought a book yet? Those are the folks we really need to reach with our message. Hey, it's not too late to buy a book. Here's how to get one. Or, hey, look at the cool stuff we're doing with the yearbook this year. The folks who have bought a book, they're good. They're done. We really don't have to worry about them. It's about all the other folks that we need to reach. All right, so absolutely use your sales reports, either if you do them yourself or they're generated through your company. That information in there is like gold. Check that at least weekly, if not more often, to figure out where you are with your sales right now. Email is email. It's been number one for 30 whatever years, and it's going to continue that way. You can email parents easily and for free. Now, again, maybe what you do is you've handed your yearbook company information. All right, here's an email list, and they keep cranking out their stuff, which frankly, I refer to most of it as cookie cutter, because they all look the same. They don't have your people pictured in them, probably. And it's the same basic kind of boring message. Snore, okay? You can do the emailing. If you have a student email list or a parent email list, you can do the emailing, either advisors through your own email address, or maybe your yearbook staff has its own dedicated email address. In some cases, maybe it needs to come from the office. So it comes from, the principal's address or some official school address, whatever. As long as it's coming from the school and it's obvious it's coming from the school, parents are much more apt to open those messages rather than some generic message coming from their company, once a week or whatever it turns out to be. All right. You can use email too. Keep your messages brief. I'd say include some kind of image in there of somebody from your school, not some kid from who knows where. All right. And when parents see that with people wearing, your sports gear and stuff like that, oh, I know that kid. That's so and so. He's on the basketball team. Yes, they will pay attention to those messages. So use email on your own through your school's different, system and so on. Don't overdo it. No, don't email every day. That's nuts. Maybe don't even necessarily email once a week. But you might hit some stretches where you might say, okay, we're going to send 2 emails this week, like Monday, Thursday, or something like that. And somebody write up just a simple, brief message. It's not all about sales, sales, sales. It might be more like, hey, look what we're doing right now. Hey, look what the yearbook staff covered this week, and so on. We want to convince people, hey, they're doing some pretty good work there. And then, hey, don't forget to get a copy of our book. Okay, you've convinced me. I'm going to buy one. Good. It's not all sell, sell, sell. It's much more look what we're doing. And email is probably a simple way to do that. Of course, social media is there. Now, once again, use your school's social media outlets, Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, whatever they are, because people are hopefully signed up for those. Work with your school person, whoever that is, on social media. Feed them regular material so that they can easily put it out for the audience to check out for themselves. Make sure there's at least one local image that you took about football game or homecoming dance or this competition and so on, chemistry class, whatever it is with Mr. Jones. Okay, great. Put that in there. People will see that. Okay, boy, those folks are really busy. Hey, I got to make sure to get a yearbook. And then they go click the link and buy one when it comes from you, not necessarily when it comes from your yearbook company. Here's one that I'm really amazed that how many schools and staffs don't do this, and it's simply show the merchandise. Show everybody what you've been doing. Show them your cover. Don't treat it like a secret. Either the finished cover or if it's a cover sketch early on, show it like, here's our theme this year. Boom. Show everybody what that is so they know what they're getting. When you have pages that are completed and submitted, in other words, they're not going to be changed, get some just like a JPEG image of that page or that spread and share that out. Preferably a page or spread that features a lot of different people, not the same people over and over again. Show the merchandise. Quick thought, can you think of anything else in life that you buy sight unseen? The answer is probably no. All right. Anything, a car, clothes, food, anything. No, you want to see what you're buying. Same thing goes for your book. Don't treat it like a secret. Not all the time. And of course, don't show the whole book. That's crazy. Little bit here, little bit here, little bit there, this section, that section. Let people know here's what we're doing this year. It looks really good. Make sure you get a copy. Here's how. And you always put that information or a link in there for people to easily buy your book. Marketing, one thing again that most schools don't do surveys and polls with your students. All right, we want to get their opinions about anything. It could be lighthearted subjects, could be serious subjects if it's like high school and college and so on. Do surveys and polls. That's part of marketing. Just ask questions. You can do it the old-fashioned way with pencil and paper. Of course, a lot of electronic ways to do that sort of thing now. And when you do that on a regular basis, maybe it's once a month, you put a couple of questions out there. People are going to say, oh, I want to jump into that. I want to let them know what I'm thinking. All right, and they answer your questions that way. It's a way to get your audience involved with what you're doing, because when they feel like they're involved, now it's like, hey, I got to make sure I get a book. How do I do that? Boom, this is how. Surveys and polls, a simple way to involve your audience and make them feel like they're part of the effort. Too many yearbook staffs, again, treat yearbook as a secret. No, don't do that. Get your audience directly involved and then watch your sales go up. How do you do that? You do that through good, regular marketing. Old school marketing, as I call it, still works. Not everything has to be high tech. But the idea is it needs to be visible and effective. And once again, parents buy the yearbook. How can we reach them with our in-school marketing? Daily announcements, not going to do it. Posters on walls, not going to do it. Other ways to attract attention, that's the purpose of marketing. Sidewalk chalk on the entrance to school. Everybody comes through the main entrance right first thing in the morning, and at the end of the day, you put some kind of really cool design on the sidewalk. People are going to say, oh, what's that? Oh, it's from the yearbook stuff. Hey, that's pretty cool. And then you kind of change it up every now and then. Anything we can do to grab people's eyeballs, that's marketing, and that's effective. Now, you don't do it once, wait 3 months, and then do it again. No, it needs to be sort of a regular drumbeat. Maybe not necessarily every day, definitely something every week, that you do something to say, here we are, here's what we're doing. You need to make sure you get a copy of our book. Here's how to get one. Boom. That doesn't have to be the big part of the message, by the way. Get a yearbook, get a yearbook. The big part might be, look at this, look at this. Here's what we're doing. Yeah, make sure you get a copy. Here's how. Boom. Might be small down at the bottom. Once we have their attention, they'll keep going and get down to the bottom and think, I don't have a yearbook yet. Okay, I better get one. That's it. That's good in-school marketing. All right, so let's do a quick student activity. Again, depending on when you're watching this, what are you doing right now? Again, if it's just daily announcements and posters, those don't work. All right, first off, we're reaching the wrong people in some respects. We need to reach the parents. That's for any school, absolutely for younger, like elementary and middle schools. Kids are not making any kind of purchases in that group. We need to make sure we reach the right audience. Okay, so what are you doing with your marketing right now? Either tech wise, like emails from school, social media, or in school wise, just simple ways to get people's attention. This is what we need to do on a regular basis all year long. Advisors, if you have a staff, we've mentioned this in some other videos, you need to have like a marketing editor or a sales editor. And their primary job is to run these plays to make sure everybody knows what you and your group are doing to help get more interest in the yearbook and hopefully then get more sales as well. Also for ads, could be business ads, parent ads, and so on, and some other things. Regular marketing, again, is 50% of the equation, not 10% of the equation. You need to get half and half. Creating great, selling great, put them together, you've got a terrific effort. So let's see what you can do with this, all right? Thanks for watching.